What's up, my beautiful peeps? How are you guys? I hope you guys are feeling positive, and I hope that you are loving yourself. And if you are not feeling positive or practicing self love, well, I hope that by the end of this video, you do get some inspiration to start loving yourself and to start switching that negative energy into positive energy. Let's get straight into the vibes. So, today I'm talking about being sober. It's been a process. I have been completely sober for a little over a year now. I stopped smoking weed last year in May. I'm not sure what day, but it was in May. I stopped smoking weed in May of 2023, and we are now in August of 2024. So it's a little over a year, and it's been great, you guys. It's been wild. The growth is amazing, but let me tell you that it's been a process, okay? It's been a process to getting to the point of being completely sober. Being sober is just, it's self-love. Self-love and self-care. Self-love consists of being sober. And I just love myself to the fullest now, you guys. I want to be able to love myself so I can properly love other people. Because if you don't love yourself, you can't love nobody else. You guys, go check out my mugs. Get your new favorite mug. It says if you don't love yourself, you can't love nobody else. Because it's true. And if you are drinking alcohol, smoking weed, doing whatever the fuck it is that you're doing, whatever substance you are abusing of, that is not self-love, okay? Because it's self-harm, you guys. Honestly, like when you really think about it, alcohol is poison. Smoking weed is fucking up your lungs. You can say it's medical, it helps with this and that, but it's fucking you up. The cocaine fucking up your heart. It's all bad. It's all harmful. It doesn't get to the root cause of anything. You are just escaping and you are numbing yourself. And I know this because I know this from experience. That's what I used to do. I used to escape. I used to numb myself because I didn't want to deal with my reality. I didn't want to deal with me. I didn't want to deal with my thoughts. I didn't want to deal with my feelings. I didn't want to deal with anything. I didn't give a fuck about myself. I didn't give a fuck about my health. We hear that it's bad for you drinking alcohol, smoking weed, whatever. But we don't know what it really does to you. Once I found out what it really does to you, to the body, you know, what I was doing to myself, I was like, no, I do not want this for me. I don't want to continue doing this. Like, why am I doing this? And that's the question that I asked myself. Why am I doing this? And, you know, I had a deep conversation with me. I confronted me, which is something a lot of us don't want to do. You think it's dumb, you think it's weird, but it's something that needs to be done, okay? Because you need to take accountability for your actions. You need to accept that shit's crazy, you know, that you have problems, that you have trauma, whatever it is, and you need to start fixing that. You need to start working on that. I went completely sober last year. Even though I stopped drinking alcohol in December, it will be 3 years that I stopped drinking alcohol. I stopped drinking alcohol in December of 2021, and I said no more to alcohol. I quit. That was a struggle. Not like when I completely quit, but prior to that, prior to quitting forever, I was taking breaks. And the first break that I took from alcohol, it was hard. I got the withdrawals tough, and like it was crazy, you guys. I didn't get the withdrawals in December 2021 because I had already, you know, distanced myself from alcohol. I was just having it here and there and not daily. You know, it was going to happen. I didn't know when, but I said, fuck that, because I had blacked out. It was a party and I had blacked out and I was hungover the next day, and I was like, dude, like, why do I keep doing this? You know, even for special occasions, like, why am I doing this? Why am I putting myself through this? I didn't want to put myself through that anymore. I never wanted to feel like that ever again. So I said, well, I'm just never going to drink. Weed was the last thing I quit. Well, I also did coke, but that was just for like 2 years. Even though it was an issue though. Like, I was doing that shit like every fucking day. I quit that first because that's what I thought was like the harshest thing that I was doing at the moment. So I said, well, let me if I can quit this, I could eventually quit alcohol, you know, and then eventually quit weed. I quit weed last year because it just wasn't doing anything good for me, you guys. I was mentally, you know, fucked up. Like, it was fucking me up mentally. I couldn't focus, and it was just like the last straw. That was eventually going to happen too, because with alcohol and weed, it was breaks that I was taking to eventually lead me to just quitting, you know? Because it's hard. Like, when you stop after a while, like, I was drinking alcohol for 10 years and I was doing that shit daily, you know? Like, I was a very heavy drinker. And when I stopped, like, out of nowhere, it was tough. And with weed too. Weed, I was kind of always on and off, but you know, it got to the point where I was smoking every day a lot. It's actually disgusting. And when I stopped, it was like, you get the withdrawals too, dude. Like, I couldn't go to sleep. I was getting heat flashes. And, you know, it's like your body craves it. You just want it, that high, that escape feeling. You lose control to these things, to these substances. And I was done with that. You know, I wanted control. And if I wanted control because I wanted to change my life. So I had to stop giving these things control over my life, over me, over my decisions, over my feelings, over my thoughts. I went sober last year, and you guys, honestly, it feels like I've been sober way longer than that, just because of all the growth that I've done over this past year. Because prior to that, the years before, I wasn't doing shit. I feel like I was stuck in one place and there was no growth. So I feel like it was just like I was just there. It literally feels like forever ago because of all the growth that I have just done in 1 year. Like, imagine me next year, you know, 2 years sober, 3 years sober. Like, it's just 1 year. And I have done so much in that 1 year. I started loving myself more. I started taking care of myself. I started taking my health very seriously because, you know, I was eating healthier before that, but I was still smoking weed. Sometimes I feel like, you know, I could have been doing this already, this, and that. But it's like, no, you know, the point is that I am in a way better place than where I was before mentally. And I will eventually get there. Like, it's only been a year. And it's probably because I feel like I have done a lot. But, you know, it all takes time. And the point is that I have changed internally, that I have grown internally, that I am so connected with me, and that I'm just loving to the fullest, to be honest. That's really what counts. And I am happy. Like, I'm happy with me. I'm happy with who I am right now, even though I am still trying to become the best version of myself. You know, you just have to love yourself through everything, and you have to keep a positive mindset. And that's literally the key to going sober. You have to keep a positive mindset, because I didn't think about, well, what am I going to do next? What am I going to do? Like, who am I going to be? Because your world revolves around that. And you feel lost. You feel lost. You don't know what to do, what interests you, who your real friends are, what family is really there for you. But you just have to take it day by day. You have to just live in the moment. If you feel bad, if you're going through the withdrawals, accept that you're going through it. If you feel bad one day, like if you're feeling down, well, then do something to make you feel good, to put you in a good mood. Start journaling, start meditating, coloring, start reading, building a positive routine, what's going to make you feel good. And it's fun. You know, trying out new things is fun. Seeing what you like getting to know yourself is fun, because instead of looking at it so negatively, like lost and stuff, you know, you're like, I saw it as a second chance, you know, and it is a second chance in life where you get to just be you and see what you really like to do, who you are. You know, it's fun discovering new things about you. Like, I'm still discovering new things about me. You know what I'm saying? Just this year, I started reading. I never saw myself reading. I love it, like, for fun. You know, I used to read books in school because it was mandatory, you know, for a project or whatever in class. But I enjoy reading. I love it. I'm always reading a book. It makes me feel good. It clears my mind, and it just, you know, it's good. It's good for you. You're focused on one thing. It's just, It's wonderful, you guys. Like, I have my 30 minutes every morning to read, but that's just not enough. And I read throughout the day. I never saw myself as a reader, to be honest. And I love it. Like, it's just so part of me. It's just something in me that was missing. And it has opened new opportunities for me. Like, I started a TikTok, and I've met great people through connecting about books and seeing what they're reading. I love that community. You know, I feel like involved. I feel like me. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing, and there's so many other things. I have gotten into sewing again, and I used to sew before, but now I'm actually taking it a step further. Before it was just like small things or whatever, but I'm investing more time and energy into it because I love it. I love creating clothes. I love creating something, you know, a bag, a tote bag, trying something new, a new design. It's so amazing. You know, obviously I saw videos of how to use a sewing machine, this and that, you know, how to make a tote bag. But it just kind of comes naturally, and I'm like, dude, like this is me, you know, and it makes me so happy. It's so calming, it clears my mind, it's so peaceful, and it's just, I'm like, wow, it's just amazing, you know, like the shit you can actually do, the growth that actually happens, you guys, the change, the positive change. You won't be stuck in that dark place. You know, you are worthy and you are enough and you are capable of great things. Your past doesn't define you. The alcohol, that alcoholic person that you were, doesn't define you, okay? Whatever you did, all the stupid shit, doesn't define you. As long as you learn from it, you forgive yourself, and you move on, and you start doing better for you. It's also really cool how invested I am in my health. I'm like all about trying to improve my health because I have fucked up my health. You know, I've damaged myself through drinking and all that stuff. And that was one of the reasons why I decided to go sober too, because I just started getting more into it. I stopped smoking in May, and last year, I think it was around in August, I started a detox program, a 16-week detox program. I've never done anything like it, and I learned so much. And you guys, after that program, like, I felt so good, and you know, that really motivated me to start eating healthier, to start eating more fruit, to drink juices. You know, it was just a lot that I learned, and I took all of that in, and I did a maintenance, you know, earlier this year. It's just part of my lifestyle now too, like the drinking juices, the eating lots of fruit, because I know how good it is for you and how good it actually makes me feel. And it's crazy to think too, because I used to be that person where I was like, I can't have a meal without meat. You know, I used to be such a big meat person. And I'm just like, you know, and a lot of you guys might think, well, what am I going to eat without meat, without dairy? You guys, like, fruit is delicious. And there's so many other things you can fucking eat. Like, there's so many fruit, there's so many vegetables, and that's real food. You know what I'm saying? You guys are just so used to all this nasty shit and just feeling like shit. That's honestly not the way, to be honest. And it's crazy too, you know, like, that was just probably, I think, like 2 years ago where I stopped eating meat. It's crazy when you reflect on it and you really see all the growth. It's truly inspiring. Like, it was just last year when I was smoking weed. Like, just last year. And I'm talking about this. I wanted to do this episode because I was reflecting. It was just last year when I was smoking weed. Like, yeah, I stopped drinking 3 years ago, but I was still smoking, you know? And just my mindset, I was in a whole different place. It's just awesome, you guys. For me, it didn't happen where I went sober overnight. You know, it was a process. If you are trying to quit, you should probably start off with breaks. And that's because this is how I went about it, how I did it. You know, I started off with breaks. And during those breaks, I saw the difference, you know, in my mood and my energy, and I felt the difference. It felt great to not drink and to not smoke, you know, to not be hungover, to not be in a negative mood. And you start doing just other things, you know, you start focusing on you, you start loving yourself. You realize how much you are harming yourself by drinking, by poisoning yourself, and by smoking weed or doing whatever it is that you're doing. And it feels good. And that's literally what led me to then just quitting it on, to going completely sober. With the withdrawals, you guys just have to push through. I always get asked about withdrawals, and you guys just have to push through. Just love yourself. Like, you're going to go through it, and it's just for like a week, you guys. It's just a couple of days. Do not go back, because going back, it's not going to fix anything. It's just going to make you not feel the withdrawal, but you're still going to feel like shit. You're still going to think negatively and feel negatively about yourself, about life. You want to keep pushing forward, you guys. You want to remain positive. The withdrawals are just temporary. Like, the aftermath, the long-term results are going to be way worth it. When you are first quitting alcohol, smoking weed, cocaine, whatever substance, whatever addiction, what will help you, what can help you, is trying out new things, staying busy, taking on a project, writing down a goal and focusing on that goal, going outside, journaling, meditating. There's so many things that can help you, but staying busy is a big one. Just doing something, that way you're not focusing on missing the alcohol, missing going out or whatever, so your mind doesn't wander off to that, just feeling like you're stuck, like you're lost. With doing things like that, you'll get to know yourself some more. You'll see what you like, what you don't like. I know every time I quit something, I started something new. When I stopped going out, I was in all the time. So I started social media. I started taking social media seriously. And I started filming videos. I started doing my makeup more. I started taking some pictures. That's what I was focusing on. And then I stopped doing coke and I stopped drinking. And I started List Talks Vibes because I wanted to talk about this. I wanted to talk about my experience, about my journey, to help others who are going through the similar thing, or who went through something similar, or just to talk about it. Like, I know it's going to help out somebody, talking some wisdom, because there's so many people that think they need to party in their 20s, all these young 20-year-olds, and they're thinking that they have to live it up by partying, trying out some drugs, drinking. But you guys might think, oh yeah, I'm just drinking on the weekends. That leads to every day. You guys want to try coke. That one line can lead to 2 years of addiction. It's just, you just don't know what can happen. And play it safe, dude, by just not trying any of that, because you're not missing out on that. That shit will lead you to negativity, to negative people, to bad things, making horrible choices, shit that you might regret. I don't regret anything, because it has led me here to this exact moment. And shit happens for a reason. I learned from it. I forgave myself. You just have to move on. You have to let all of that go. When you are letting go of the alcohol, the weed, the coke, all of that, you also have to let go of people. You have to let go of memories. You have to let go of those past feelings. You have to let go of everything that has to do with that. I literally distanced myself. I stopped going out. I stopped going out to family parties. I stopped hanging out with family. I stopped hanging out with those so-called friends. I did me because my friends, so-called friends, they were still drinking. They were still smoking. And, I don't judge. If that's what they wanted to do, that's what they wanted to do. I wasn't going to tell them to stop. Like, yeah, it's like, fuck. Maybe you shouldn't do that, but I'm not going to tell them to stop. I would love for them to change, because I cared about them, and, I did it for my reasons, and it's like health, that's like, that should be everybody's reason, but not everybody gets it. I didn't want temptation, and I just didn't want to be around that, They weren't supportive, and I didn't want them to keep asking me, why am I doing it? Or, thinking they're joking by just saying, come on, just take one shot. This and that. Like, one won't hurt you. Like, no. I'm taking this shit serious. Like, this is serious. And obviously you don't support me. You don't respect my decisions. So I just said, fuck all that. That's also another thing that will help, just distancing yourself from people, from family, just doing you. And then last year when I stopped smoking, I started new accounts. I had List Talks Vibes already, but I made an Instagram, I made a TikTok, and this year I made List Talks Books. Like, it's just so many things that come from quitting something. You're thinking, oh, I'm quitting this. Like, don't see it as quitting. You're going to gain so much more than that. Like, your life is going to change for the better. I've been talking a lot about being sober, and I will continue to talk about being sober, about alcohol, about my experience, about my journey. It's my experience, and people get all defensive and all just wild about it when it's like, dude, like, it's my experience, okay? I'm sharing it for a reason. I'm sharing it to help out people. I'm not proud of doing cocaine. I'm not proud of drinking so much. I'm not proud of smoking, okay? But I learned from it, and I was going through shit. And I know there's other people going through it too. I was so young. I didn't know better. I didn't do better. And there's other young people out there who think it's all fun and games, who don't have somebody there telling them all the damage that shit can cause you. Not just physically in your body, but mentally, spiritually. Like, it hurts your soul. And I know I didn't know about this shit. I didn't know about energy. I didn't know about my soul, like shit like that, about mental health. But shit's real. It's real. And we need to take care of that. And we need to stay connected. We don't want to lose control to those things. I was done letting those things controlling me. Like, those things control you. You guys think that's fun? None of it is fun. Getting drunk is not fun. Smoking weed is not fun. Blacking out is not fun. I've had the most fun sober. Not during those drinking times, going to the bailes, going to concerts. None of that was fun. Especially the day after. That shit was not fun. Okay, the hangover is not fun. Yakking is not fun. I'm all about my healing journey. I wanted to say my healing journey probably when I stopped doing cocaine, even though I was still drinking and smoking weed. But that's when I started thinking about it, and it was small steps. It takes time and it's a process. But last year I was like, I went in, I went sober, I stopped smoking, and I was like, well, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is my time to heal. And if I can quit, like, you can quit. And I'm just out here trying to inspire healing and helping you guys out, how you guys can heal too. Talking about what I did, what I'm doing, how I'm feeling, how great I've been since I went sober, how great I've been feeling, how much I love myself, how much I take care of myself. It's truly been amazing. Going sober is a positive choice. I choose to love myself, so I'm gonna be sober. I choose to take care of myself, so I'm gonna be sober. I give a fuck about my health, so I'm gonna be sober. Going sober is literally the best choice you can do for yourself. It's the biggest self-love act, the biggest self-care act. It can be hard nowadays, especially in a world filled with, people who just consume it every day, and how normalized it is to have a drink. It's been a long week, let's have a drink. Celebrate, let's have a drink. Relax, let's have a drink. We're stressed, let's have a drink. You don't need the drink. You don't need the joint. Instead of drinking alcohol, maybe you should start drinking fresh juices. You should start drinking tea. Instead of lighting up a joint, light up some sage, a palo santo, and incense. Start switching those habits. The negative habits, the positive habits. I will never drink again. To be honest, there's just no point in it. Like, for what? Why am I going to consume poison? Why am I going to hurt myself? Like, why would I go back to drinking after I have put so much time, energy, and effort into getting to where I am now? Into this point of my healing journey? Like, no, I'm not going to go backwards. I'm going to go forward. I have built so much discipline. Like, no me da ganas anymore. Like, I see no point in it. I'm investing all my time and energy into me, into my overall well-being, into leveling up, into growth. I am building more self-discipline. I am accountable for my actions. Like, I know what makes me feel good and what doesn't. Alcohol is not going to make me feel good. It's not going to solve any of my problems. It's not going to solve any of your problems. It's just going to make shit worse. I am loving myself, and I'm going to continue to love myself, and I'm going to continue to learn more about me, and I'm just so excited to see what comes, through the next years. It's just been a year sober. Like, I'm just so excited. Like, you're going to get to that point of excitement. At first, you might dread it. Like, fuck, I'm sober. What do I do now? But like I said, take it day by day. Love yourself and take care of yourself. I've already made videos about my drinking problem, smoking weed, doing coke. I think I've done some being sober, maybe like one or two, because it's only been a year. But I'm going to continue talking about this, and if you don't like it, that's on you. I do receive a lot of hate, but I also do receive a lot of positivity, and that's what I focus on. And I love you guys. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys, the constant support. Make sure to follow the vibes on Instagram, follow the vibes on TikTok, follow the vibes on Threads. I love Threads. It's just so cool. It's a great community. And it's just another way where I can inspire you guys, talk to you guys, help you guys out, motivate you guys. It's been great. I love it, and it's really inspired me to talk about this again because people are wild. Like, people are wild. It's just, I don't judge anybody. That's why I'm here, to share my experience so people can learn, so people can see like what that shit does to you. Like that shit fucked me up mentally, physically, emotionally. It was wild. And people just don't realize that, they think it's all fun and games, but it really isn't. It's not going to be all fun and games when you have a serious issue, when you have an addiction problem. You start wanting it and wanting it and wanting it to drink, and then you end up needing it. You end up needing the alcohol. You end up needing the weed. You end up needing the coke. And I don't want you guys to get to that point. Like, it's dark. It's horrible. It's miserable. It's sad. It's not good. If you have been thinking about going sober, I think this is your sign to go sober. This is just everybody's sign to go sober. Start off with a break. You guys are going to see how great it feels. You guys are going to feel it. You guys are going to see the change, the positivity. Being sober is the vibe. Being sober is the hype. Don't forget to speak good vibes to yourself and speak good vibes to others. Peace.